Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. I've got some pretty exciting news to share with you. Today, I got the drive unit installed and hanging on its own weight. And that, my friends, is pretty rad. There we go. I'm gonna put some like triangulation right here. It's gonna tie into up here. This is just tacked in for the moment, but obviously I've got it going up in there, and I'm gonna weld that in the whole way, so there'll be a lot of surface holding it, but I'm gonna put a piece maybe triangulated up and have it on the inside of this and then weld along the outside. That way it's not just holding on to that, it'll hold on to other stuff too, and it'll be a little bit of side to side control as well. As for the side mount, this is what I did today. This one kind of gave me some fits. I wasn't really sure how to do it. I really wanted to reuse the factory mount bushing, but it would go there, and obviously that's not going to fit. I can barely get my fingers in there. So I made this little plate and welded it to the two cross members here. I was going to put this plate on the inside so it would sort of hang here and then do a little weld along right here, but in order for me to get this plate in here, it has to be really small, really short, so I couldn't get full length there. And even if I did, I was worried that the weight of this thing could eventually like maybe bend these little tabs down or something. So what I'm going to do here is I've got it on the bottom, and I'm just going to weld along the side here, and here. In addition to that, I've got this cutout here for that nut, for that bolt to come out. You gotta think about stuff like that when you do this. But also I've got this flushed up against this mount here where the shock is. So I've got it flushed up against there, and I'm going to run a welded bead there as well, and then inside here too. So that'll keep that solid there. And I think that's going to be fine. This is pretty thin. This is just 1/8 inch steel, maybe. It might not even be that thin. Not that thick, but I really wanted to use this, so that's pretty sweet that I was able to do that. On the side mounts, I'm gonna do a weird camera angle, but you'll notice that there's like a little spacer right here. These two are actually inset from this one here, and so same sort of works over here. Let's roll around to the other side real quick. Oh, I'm stuck. Right. Yeah, there we go. So a little spacer there, and that's about 357 thousandths, or 347 thousandths. And I use my little lathe to spin them up, and that way I can get this plate on there flat, and it all works just great. And then it's obviously mounted up there. And as for the front mount, I've got a little I don't know, 1.5, I think that's 1.5 by 3 piece of rectangular tubing going across, and then the front mount is just kind of the similar as the one in the back, but I spent a shoot load of time making sure that this thing is centered as I could get it. About a 1/16 of an inch. I just oh, my arm is stuck. I just measured between here and here and made both sides the same, and it's within about a 1/16 of an inch. And then to get it yaw, I guess, like so make sure this isn't too far over that way, in the back is to make sure it's sort of straight this way. I measured from the front of this to this right here, or that side. Just measured from the front of there to the front of there, and that's going to get me pretty close. I got that also within a 1/16 or so. I can live with that. And then to get it level this way, I have one of those little digital angulometers, and my concrete floor here isn't really level, so I couldn't use just a bubble level. So I put that little digital thing here. I'll show you. I put it on there, set it to 0, double checked it against the bottom of my axle tubes there, and double checked it against this. All this stuff is all level with each other, and then put those just on the bottom of my CV joints here. And it turns out that, which one? This cross member, right? This little, this button back here, that little doohickey right there is actually level with these right there. So anyway, so that's how I did it. And I just had a jack. I had the front and the back mounts holding it up, and then just a jack raise and lower this to make sure it's in the right spot. And got all this stuff in here. I did a whole bunch of squats today because this just requires a whole bunch of come down here, think about what you're doing, put something up there, try it again, hold it somehow so that you can do the other thing, put the other thing up there, and it's just a mess. So, lots of squats today. I still have to make this side plate look cool. I'll run this radius that there, and then probably have this cut up here, radius this here, and then have it. I don't know what I'm going to do back here. I may just angle it back up. May just angle it to about right here. I don't want to go up too high because then we get a little bit close. You can see the heat zone where the weld was for that bracket, but I don't want to get too close. Before I do any of that final welding, I need to make sure that I can get this damn drive unit out of here. That it'll slide straight down. Maybe you can see that I've filed that down a little bit. That little boss this here, I filed that down a little bit. I may need to do it some more, but that's going to drop down straight, no problemo. And this one may give me fits. I don't think that's going to drop straight down. That little nut, that little bolt can come out, but I may need to get my little angle grinder and cut that little off. Cut that little bulb off, which is fine. I can just cut that off, and then I think it's going to be fine. I think it'll drop straight down, and I may have to undo undo that top link and remove it entirely. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see how that goes. But man, am I excited about this. This is really, really cool. And I'll show you some of the stuff that I use to do all this. This is a kind of indispensable tool. This is the profile of those cross members. So you just got this little thing, you smoosh it flat, and then you smoosh that up against the cross member, and then that gives you sort of a negative, I guess. And then you can transfer that to a piece of paper, something like that. And you just sort of put that in place. Then you make your little cardboard aided design motor mount in paper, make sure it fits. Then you come over and you make one in sheet metal. This is just 16 gauge. Make one like that, make sure it fits still. And that hole is a little bit off center because for whatever reason this didn't turn out exactly like that, but I wasn't sweating it. It wasn't a big enough deal to redo this piece, so I just have it off centered. No big deal. So that was the rear one. This is the front one. And then that's the side one. That's how you do those. And then once you've got it in that, you transfer it. I used 1/8" steel for the whole thing, and I think that's going to be just fine. And what else? I don't know. I'm gonna kind of take a little victory lap. I'm fairly confident that this is the very first Volkswagen pickup truck caddy to ever have a Tesla drive unit in it. A guy that I work with says that I need to put a small drive unit in the front. I need to put one in the front too. Because obviously this was a front wheel drive vehicle originally, so you know the CV shafts, the half shafts are all there, or I could make them there. And I do actually have room. There would actually be room because the if you think about the rear drive unit, the sort of motor and inverter and stuff are sort of hanging out in the back. Well, on a front drive unit, they're in the front here. So this whole area, I think it would fit fine, and the drive shafts would come into about right here and then go out over there. So it would actually fit. But it'd be unnecessary, I think. I don't know. Oh, I'm just giggling right now because I'm just thinking about it, because it could totally work. The problem that I might have with that, though, with two drive units, the batteries that I'm using, they're just little 105 amp hour lithium iron phosphate, and there's a thing called a C rating. And what the C rating is you take that number, and in this case, it's a 3. And what that says by the manufacturer is that this battery can safely and continuously for some amount of time operate at the C rating times your amp hour rating. So say a 3 times 105 amp hours is 315 amps. So it could safely do 315 amps for like 30 seconds or something. And they will do more than that for sure. If you short the terminals across, they'll make thousands of amps. But you run into a problem with heat, internally heating them. So I don't know. It'd be pretty wicked to do that. I need to stop. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you watching. We'll catch you next time.